I thought I would never see Nham Canh again in this lifetime. I didn't want to see him either. After all, our breakup back then was anything but pleasant. Later, I heard that a newlywed couple had moved into the apartment opposite mine. The moment the door opened, my eyes met those of my new neighbor. Nham Canh, the narrow hallway and the endless drizzle couldn't hide my erratic heartbeat. I stood frozen in place, the shock in my eyes reflecting the calm face of the man.
What a coincidence. I didn't expect you to live here too.
Nham Canh's voice pulled me back to reality. I clumsily picked up the keys I had dropped on the floor. I didn't expect you to be the new neighbor either. The person I missed day and night was standing right in front of me, yet I lost the courage to look him in the eye. I could only steal glances to trace his features. He wore a gray turtleneck sweater, his slightly messy black hair exuding a sense of laziness, his cold eyes carrying an innate nobility. His chest, which was slightly thin in his youth, had now become more muscular. His fair hands showed faint veins. Compared to 3 years ago, he seemed to have lost a little weight. The air gradually solidified. I looked up, only to see the ice-cold look in his eyes. I tried to squeeze out an ugly smile. No, not at all. Just then, the elevator door opened and a tall, radiant woman stepped out. Seeing us standing at the door looking like we were chatting, she asked curiously, "Canh, who is she?" Before I could react, I heard Nham Canh answer distantly.
A new neighbor I just met. Due Giao.
The phrase, "just met," pierced my heart. The woman smiled. "I am Hualak Thursday. My husband and I just moved in. Please look out for us in the future." Halfway through speaking, she began to assess my outfit. "Miss are you wearing this year's trending autumn-winter fashion style?" I composed myself and smiled stiffly. "No, I'm just a bit afraid of the cold." Hearing this, Nham Canh finally noticed the appearance of the person standing in front of him. It was only early autumn, yet she was wearing a thick, long-down jacket and snow boots. Her complexion was exceptionally pale. He frowned and turned away, seemingly unwilling to look any longer, pulling Hualak Thursday into the house.
I'm hungry, go inside and cook.
With a click, the door closed. I stood rooted to the spot, feeling as if I were trapped in a vacuum. It took a long time before I opened the door and entered my house. "Mom, I'm home." My mother walked out of the kitchen while wiping her hands. "How was the chemotherapy today? Was the reaction strong?" Hearing my mother's concern, my eyes turned red. "Mom, the person who just moved in opposite us is Nham Canh." My mother paused for a moment, then immediately pulled me outside with joy. "That's wonderful. Go and explain everything to him. Tell him that you broke up back then because you were sick." But I stood still, pulling my hand back. "He's already married." "Mom, I'm a bit tired. I'll go to my room first." Saying that, I dragged my tired body back to my room. I took off my wig. The prolonged chemotherapy had caused all my hair to fall out. Without the wig to cover it, I looked even more haggard than before. I sat on the bed, took a photo album from the bedside drawer, and opened the first page. It was a photo of Nham Canh and me in white shirts against a red background. I still remember how foolishly Nham Canh smiled when we went to take this photo.
Wait until we get married. This photo will be useful.
But not every love story goes smoothly. Nham Canh's mother, because her family was destroyed by a third party, hated my mother, who had once intervened in someone else's marriage, even though my mother was also a victim of deception. She despised me and firmly opposed the relationship between Nham Canh and me. I had thought about giving up, but Nham Canh always held my hand firmly, making cherished promises.
Little Giao, I have never thought about giving up. You must trust me, and trust in our feelings.
But unexpectedly, Nham mother would rather obstruct her own son's career than let us be together. Under Nham mother's direction, even Nham Canh, the most outstanding graduate of the key University of Politics and Law, couldn't get accepted by any law firm or company. Witnessing Nham mother's repeated coercion and his failures, coupled with my sudden diagnosis of mid to late stage myeloma, I backed down. I accepted the bank card from Nham mother and used the most heartless and decisive attitude to break up with him. That night, it rained heavily. Nham Canh stood below my house, holding the ring I had thrown out, screaming in despair.
Due Giao, you betrayed me. You betrayed me for that 1 million.
The rain fell all night. I covered my ears, not even daring to cry out loud. A few days later, I heard that Nham Canh had a high fever and was then arranged by his mother to go abroad. Since then, there had been no news. After 2 months of struggling with longing, I couldn't help but call Nham Canh to tell him the truth, but the response was only a voicemail prompt. Thinking of the past, my eyes became wet. Just then, the phone rang. I closed the album and picked up the phone to check. It was a friend request sent through the apartment owner's group chat. Message note: Nham Canh. I stared at that friend request for a long time, unable to recover. 3 years ago, when Nham Canh left, he deleted and blocked all my contact methods. Why did he suddenly want to be friends again now? After hesitating for a long time, I clicked accept. But 10 minutes passed and Nham Canh still sent no message. I couldn't resist checking his profile page. There was only one photo post. In the photo, Nham Canh and Hualak Thursday were facing each other, fingers intertwined tightly. I didn't cry when we broke up, nor did I cry during the countless painful chemotherapy sessions that nearly broke me, but at this moment, I cried like a child, tears rolling down my face. My mother brought food in. "Little Giao, let's eat." But seeing the scene, she hurriedly put down the bowls and chopsticks, stepped forward, and hugged my trembling body. Leaning into my mother's arms, I sobbed. "Mom, it hurts so much. Why did I have to get sick? Why did I have to break up with Nham Canh? Why let me meet him again? Why me?" Hearing my exhausted crying, my mother's eyes turned red with heartache. "Little Giao, be good. Mom knows you're suffering. Mom will be with you." But I cried even harder. I thought Nham Canh would start a new relationship, and I thought he would get married, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. I certainly didn't expect to witness him settling down with my own eyes. This was beyond my expectations, leaving me no time to accept it. For the next 2 days, our chat box remained empty. As for me, every time I went out, I became cautious, always making sure there was no movement across the hall before daring to step out, to avoid bumping into Nham Canh again. Until that day, after half a month of gloom in Nam Ton, the sun finally came out. I went downstairs to sunbathe. As always, I sat on the bench, squinting to feel the warmth of the sun on my body, recalling fragmented memories with Nham Canh. This was my habit, and also my only comfort to escape reality.
Little Giao, wait until we get married. Let's raise a puppy. You like to go barefoot at home. I'll teach it to bring you your shoes. That way, there will be one big and one small watching over you in the house.
The man's gentleness from the past still echoed in my ears, causing sadness to well up in my heart. Woof! A few barks pulled me out of my deep emotions. I opened my eyes, only to see a curly-haired golden retriever running up to me. It wagged its tail enthusiastically and rubbed against my leg. My heart softened, and I couldn't help rubbing its soft head repeatedly. "Whose dog are you? Why haven't I seen you in the complex before?" While speaking, I remembered a day when Nham Canh and I saw a dog following us on the street. I rubbed the dog's head and smiled at Nham Canh. "Didn't you say you wanted to raise a dog? Shall we take it home? Can we call it Cream?"
Puppies will get poisoned if they eat cream. Besides, it's wearing a collar. It definitely has an owner.
At this moment, a familiar voice cut through my memory.
Cream.
My eyes froze, and I looked up in surprise. I saw Nham Canh walking slowly towards me. The golden puppy stuck out its tongue and rubbed affectionately against him. I spoke in a choked voice. "Is its name Cream?"
My wife named it.
Nham Canh tone was like his eyes, cold and distant, making it hard for me to breathe. I hurriedly changed the subject, trying to hide my uncontrollable sadness. "I heard you went to study at Yale and are now a top lawyer in the country. Congratulations." Hearing this, Nham Canh eyes darkened.
Half the credit goes to you. If you hadn't broken up so decisively back then, I wouldn't have gone abroad, and I wouldn't have met Lack Thursday. Later, if you encounter any lawsuits, you can find me. As a gratitude fee, I won't charge you.
He spoke lightly, but every word was like a knife cutting into my heart, making it bleed profusely. Vaguely, I felt my bones start to ache all over. Cough, cough, cough. Nham Canh looked at my pale face and frowned.
What's wrong with you?
Cream also became restless, barking a few times at me, then emitting a whine I hadn't heard before. I grabbed the armrest of the bench to stand up, slightly bending over. I'm going back first. Saying that, I turned to leave. Unexpectedly, Cream suddenly bit my pant leg. I stumbled and fell right into Nham Canh's arms. Due to inertia, my wig shifted. In that instant, Nham Canh saw the pale scalp under my black hair. Nham Canh's gaze tightened. But before he could look closely, I hurriedly adjusted my hair and stepped back to create distance. Nham Canh assessed me, his eyes full of probing.
What happened to your hair?
I tried to suppress the panic in my heart and explained randomly. 2 days ago, our relative's child accidentally got glue on my hair. I couldn't wash it out, so I shaved it all off. But the man clearly didn't believe it. I was afraid he would ask more, so I held my arm intending to leave. Nham Canh instinctively grabbed me.
Wait.
The moment his palm tightened around my wrist, his chest shook. Only when actually touching did he realize she was so thin she almost had no sense of flesh. Cream was still whining, its black eyes staring at me. I suppressed the pain and pulled my hand out of Nham Canh's grip. Sorry, I'm really a bit tired. I have to go home and rest. Saying that, I quickly walked towards the apartment building. Looking at that thin back, an indescribable irritability rose in Nham Canh's heart. Once home, I stumbled into my room, rummaged through the cabinet, took painkillers, and swallowed them dry. I endured the pain, recalling the conversation with Nham Canh just now, and my eyes stung. It turned out I wasn't as strong and decisive as I thought. Even though I had prepared myself mentally, simply his appearance caused the calm I tried to project to easily collapse. For 3 consecutive days, fearing I would bump into Nham Canh again, I didn't leave the house. Only when I finished my specific medication and my mother went out to buy food again did I go to the hospital. But unexpectedly, as soon as I got into the taxi, I saw Hualak Thursday at the intersection. She wore a short red skirt with a light gray fur coat draped over it. After stepping into a Maybach, she gave the man in the driver's seat a kiss. I was stunned. Seeing the car drive off, I immediately told the driver, "Driver, please follow the car in front." The Maybach crossed 3 streets and finally stopped in front of a high-end bar. Hualak Thursday was held by the waist by the man as they entered the bar. I hurriedly got out of the car and followed them in. The atmosphere in the bar was at its peak. The loud music made my heart tremble. I stood behind the bar counter, looking in disbelief at Hualak Thursday drinking heavily and kissing the man passionately. Suddenly, Hualak Thursday tilted her head, and her eyes met mine. I panicked and instinctively turned my head to leave. Unexpectedly, Hualak Thursday held her wine glass and walked straight towards me. "Miss Ha? You're here too? But you don't look like someone who frequents bars at all." Hearing her greet me so casually, I intended to leave, but decided to ask directly. "Aren't you Nham Canh's wife? How can you?" Before I could finish, I was cut off by Hualak Thursday's sneer. "I wonder in what capacity Miss Ha is questioning me right now." I was choked for words. Hualak Thursday took a sip of wine, her gestures exuding a seductive demeanor. Regardless of whose wife I become, I still like this kind of free and unrestrained life. Faced with her twisted logic, I was a bit angry. "But you're already married. Isn't this betrayal?" Hualak Thursday shook her slender index finger. "This isn't called betrayal. This is called freedom. Besides," saying that, she leaned close to me, her tone suddenly changing. "Isn't it true that you are also pining for someone else's husband?" Hearing this, my eyes shook. You? Huh? The love in your eyes, I see Nham Canh, and I see it very clearly." Having said that, Hualak Thursday gently placed the wine glass on the table, turned around, and followed the man into a private room. I stood frozen on the spot, turning my head to look at my reflection in the glass cabinet. I touched the corner of my eye, my gaze heavy. Is there love in my eyes? But why is all I see loneliness and fatigue? While distracted, I was bumped into by a drunk man.
Who is it? Dare to block my way.
The drunk man cursed, his mouth emitting a disgusting stench. I didn't want trouble, so I apologized and intended to leave. Unexpectedly, the other party suddenly grabbed me, his hand touching my face.
This girl looks pretty, just a bit thin. Come on, go drink with Big Brother.
I panicked. Let go. If you don't let go, I'll call the police. The man sneered again.
Coming here and still pretending to be high and mighty. Don't worry, as long as you serve me well, there won't be a shortage of money.
Saying that, he dragged me towards a private room. I couldn't break free at all. Fear and helplessness caused my whole body to start trembling. Just as I was about to scream for help, a pair of veiny hands gripped the man's wrist and twisted hard. The man retracted his hand in pain. A familiar mint scent rushed into my nose. I was momentarily stunned, only able to stare blankly at Nham Canh shielding me. His face was gloomy, his eyes looking like ice as he stared at the man who was baring his teeth in pain.
Who the hell are you? Dare to ruin my good time?
Nham Canh glanced at me, his cold voice particularly clear amidst the noisy environment.
I am her boyfriend.
My pupils contracted and trembled, my heart almost lost control. Nham Canh's brow bone cast a shadow over his eye sockets as he looked down. Without getting angry, he exuded a majestic aura. The drunk man was stunned by his terrifying aura, cursed a sentence, then stumbled away. When I came to my senses, I found myself dragged out of the bar by Nham Canh. Nham Canh wasn't polite either. As soon as we were outside, he decisively let go of my hand. I twisted the corner of my shirt. Thank you. Nham Canh frowned.
What did you come to a bar for?
I instinctively wanted to tell him about the conversation with Hualak Thursday, but stopped as soon as I opened my mouth. How should I say it? Would Nham Canh think I was deliberately trying to destroy their marriage? Hesitating, I just stammered an answer. Passing by, was a bit curious, so I went in to take a look. Hearing this, Nham Canh's face looked even worse. Someone allergic to alcohol is curious about a bar? Facing his sharp gaze, my heart beat wildly, and I could only change the subject. So why are you here? Work. Did a client make an appointment at the bar? Nham Canh answered very quickly. However, I felt uneasy. Did he see me and Hualak Thursday talking? Or see Hualak Thursday being intimate with another man? But looking at his expression, there wasn't a trace of anger or heartbreak from being betrayed. Suddenly, a cold wind blew, causing me to cough continuously. My bones began to ache again. I covered my mouth and hurriedly said goodbye. Anyway, thank you for today. I have things to do, so I'll go first. Saying that, I turned to leave. Unexpectedly, a sharp pain flared up in my right knee. I cried out, almost falling, but was caught by a steady hand. Looking up, I met Nham Canh's deep gaze. I immediately withdrew my hand. Thank you. A look of annoyance flashed between Nham Canh's eyebrows.
Do you have nothing else to say to me besides thank you?
He paused for a moment, his voice tinged with hoarseness.
Due Giao 3 years ago.
Halfway through, Nham Canh stopped again. He looked at me as if waiting for me to take the initiative to continue this topic. However, I turned my head away, climbed into a taxi after hailing one, left only a "see you next time," and hurriedly departed. Watching the car leave, Nham Canh slowly clenched his fists. The street scenery outside the window receded quickly, light and shadow intertwining. Only when even his figure could no longer be seen in the rearview mirror did I cover my mouth with a handkerchief. A salty, metallic taste spilled from the corner of my mouth. Blood immediately soaked the handkerchief. And out of the corner of my eye, I recalled Nham Canh's words just now about, "I am her boyfriend," along with the phrase, "3 years ago." My tears fell again. These memories, when I recall them myself, are healing medicine. But hearing them from his mouth, they became a forbidden zone I dared not touch. Dark clouds rolled in, and it began to drizzle. Because of the stop at the bar, I was delayed. The blood test items were scheduled for the evening. By the time I finished checking everything and returned home, it was 10 p.m. I dragged my tired body out of the elevator and smelled a pungent, unpleasant smell of paint. Turning my head, I saw a gray-haired old woman splashing paint on Nham Canh's door. I immediately stopped her. "Stop. What are you doing?" The old woman cursed in a shrill voice. This lawyer took money to harm my son and put my only son in jail. I instinctively retorted. Impossible. Nham Canh is always fair and principled. If you feel the judgment is unfair, you can appeal. Why throw pain on his door? Hearing this, the old woman's eyes suddenly became sharp. You defend him like that? Are you his wife? Without waiting for my answer, the other party suddenly pulled out a phone and took continuous photos of my face. Everyone come and see. The unconscionable lawyer's wife covers for her husband taking bribes, bullying this old woman raising a child alone with no one to support her. Saying that, the old woman grabbed my collar and struggled. My body was already weak, and I almost got pushed down the stairs several times. Just then, the elevator door opened and Nham Canh stepped out. Seeing the scene, his face immediately tensed. He yanked the old woman away, protecting me behind him.
What are you doing?
Seeing Nham Canh had arrived, the old woman's emotions began to spiral out of control. You goddamn brat. Give me back my son. What crime did my son commit? Which couple doesn't argue and get physical a few times? What does him beating his wife have to do with you? Nham Canh's face was gloomy.
The law reserves the right for you to appeal at any time, but the crime of murder will never be covered up by domestic violence. You are only hurting yourself by doing this.
Having said that, he turned to look at me. Seeing my pale face and 2 bloody scratches on my cheek from fingernails, he frowned tightly.
This is not something you should interfere in. What kind of hero are you playing?
The man's scolding tone made me feel a bit aggrieved. However, before I could explain, I heard the old woman gritting her teeth. If you want to ruin my son, I will kill your wife. A cold light flashed. She pulled a fruit knife out of her bag again and stabbed straight at me with force. Thud. The blade pierced flesh. The faint smell of blood immediately spread in the narrow corridor. The knife tip stabbed into Nham Canh's shoulder. Blood dripped down the blade, dyeing my contracting eyes red. Nham Canh groaned. The knife fell to the ground. Seeing blood, the old woman also panicked, immediately turned around and ran downstairs. Nham Canh's dark blue suit was soaked with blood, turning black. He held the wound, his face pale.
It's okay, just a scratch.
No, I have to take you to the hospital. My eyes were red. I grabbed his hand, intending to enter the elevator. Nham Canh frowned.
No need.
Saying that, he ignored the pain on the door and opened it directly to enter. I hesitated for a few seconds, eventually following him. As soon as we entered, Cream, the dog who had been sleeping on the balcony, wagged its tail and rubbed against us. I patted its head and looked at the man sitting on the sofa. Does your house have a medicine kit? I'll help you dress the wound. Nham Canh glanced at me indifferent.
Second drawer in the entrance cabinet.
I immediately opened the cabinet. When I took out the medicine kit, Nham Canh had taken off his jacket. The blood on the white shirt looked dazzling and terrifying under the light. I swallowed the lump in my throat and helped him take off his shirt. The wound was indeed not deep, just bleeding a lot. In the silence, I helped Nham Canh clean the wound, apply medicine, and bandage it. Every step was extremely serious and careful. Suddenly, I saw a scar under his left chest. My hand paused. For years ago, Nham Canh was hit by a car to save me, severely fracturing his ribs. This scar was from that surgery. The scar had faded, but the memory was still deep. Nham Canh saw the woman in front of him staring at his scar, her eyes already red and glistening with tears, and he suddenly felt agitated inside.
What are you crying for?
I stammered. I'm sorry. Nham Canh's expression sank.
I just don't want outsiders interfering in my private business. It has nothing to do with you.
Hearing the word outsider, my heart felt incredibly sour. I unconsciously looked around to change the subject. Is Hualak Thursday not here?
She has business today, not coming back.
Nham Canh answered lightly. Hearing his voice was a bit hoarse, I stood up and walked towards the kitchen. I'll boil some hot water for you. The blue flame danced. I lowered my eyes, my heart complicated thinking about the incident at the bar this afternoon. I hesitated. Should I tell Nham Canh about Hualak Thursday being at the bar with another man or not? Thinking carefully, I dismissed the idea. Nham Canh said I was an outsider, so why should I interfere in their marital affairs? When I brought the hot water out, Nham Canh had fallen asleep. His breathing was heavy, his face flushed. I sat beside him, unconsciously touching his forehead. So hot. I panicked and hurriedly wanted to find medicine in the first aid kit, but my hand was tightly grabbed by Nham Canh.
Due Giao, you betrayed me. Why? Why?
Hearing him mumbling in his delirium, my pupils contracted. A sour feeling suddenly surged. It turned out Nham Canh was like me, still unable to step out of that rainy night 3 years ago. But one carried a love that couldn't be confessed, and the other carried a bone-deep hatred. It took me a long time to calm down. I draped Nham Canh coat over him and texted my mother. I sat still and stayed awake all night. Cream also lay quietly at my feet, silently watching me. Only when dawn broke and I determined Nham Canh fever had gone down a bit did I withdraw my hand and leave. Just as I stepped out of the elevator door, the moment it opened, I bumped straight into someone coming out. When I saw the noble and elegant woman in front of me, my back suddenly went cold. "Auntie." Slap. A heavy slap landed on my face. The burning pain accompanied by Nham mother's cursing exploded. "Due Giao. Why are you haunting us like a ghost?" My face went pale, speechless. Hearing the commotion, my mother opened the door to look, immediately pulling me into her arms to protect me. "Mrs. Nham, no matter what, you can't hit people, can you?" Nham mother sneered. A fox spirit giving birth to a little fox spirit. Canh is married, yet she still shamelessly clings to my son. One slap is letting her off easy. "You." My mother turned red with anger and was about to retort. I hurriedly pulled her hand back. "I apologize, Auntie. I will keep my distance from Nham Canh." Saying that, I pulled my mother into the house and closed the door. My mother burst into tears and hugged me. "Little Giao, it's my fault I implicated you." I felt the dull pain in every joint, my eyes red as I comforted her. "It was never your fault, Mom." Pausing a moment, my voice choked up a few degrees. "Mom, let's move back to our old home." My mother looked at me with teary eyes and nodded. "Actually, moving away is good. At least it can help me get some peace in the little time remaining." For 2 days straight, I didn't go out, staying home to pack luggage. Just as I was hesitating whether to burn the photos of Nham Canh and me, the phone continuously showed group message notifications. I opened it to check. The homeowners group, which was always quiet, had now exploded. 1902 Vong Deep. Oh my god, I thought the family in 908 was a single mother pair, didn't expect one to be the boss's mistress and the other an illegitimate child. 801 Duong Kai. The little thirds nowadays are so arrogant. Took the money and still want to entangle with people. I panicked and trembled as I scrolled to the top of the group messages. It was a message from a strange account tagging me, 908 Due Giao. 5 million yuan has been transferred to your card. Hope you keep your promise and move out quickly. Your mother destroyed someone else's family. Hope you have the self-respect of a woman. Don't follow in your mother's footsteps. Attached was a screenshot of the transfer and the card number. That was the card Nham mother gave me 3 years ago. Before I could recover, a voice call invitation from Nham Canh popped up. I panicked, unable to help guessing his thoughts. After a long time, my stiff finger cautiously pressed the answer button. Before I could speak, Nham Canh cold questioning voice slammed into my eardrums.
Due Giao, you took my mother's money again.
Each word felt like it was crushing my self-esteem and heart. I instinctively wanted to explain, but swallowed the words. Yes. 3 years ago, I couldn't refuse 1 million, let alone 5 million this time. The other end of the line was silent, but I could hear the man's increasingly heavy breathing. My palms trembled, trying my best to control my emotions. After a while, Nham Canh voice came through.
Come out. I'm at the door.
With that, the call ended. I lowered my head, water glistening in the corners of my eyes. Suddenly a hand was gently placed on my shoulder. I turned my head to find my mother had arrived at some point, looking at me with heartbroken eyes. I forced a smile and hugged my mother. Mom, don't be sad. After today, I won't think about or mention Nham Canh anymore. Saying that, I took a deep breath and walked out the door. The corridor wasn't very wide, but because of Nham Canh presence, it felt even more cramped. I closed the door, not daring to look him in the eye. Nham Canh glanced at me and went straight into the elevator first. I silently followed. We were silent the entire way until we reached a secluded corner of the apartment complex, where I saw the man in front stop.
How much more money do you want?
Hearing Nham Canh's sudden cold question, I was stunned. His back was against the light, tall and handsome, but exuding fatigue and distance.
Due Giao, exactly how much more money do you want to disappear completely from my life?
Nham Canh asked again, his tone deep and mixed with a hatred that seemed non-existent. My eyes red, I smiled bitterly. Don't worry, it will be soon. Not long from now, I will not only disappear completely from Nham Canh's life, but also disappear from this world. In the cold wind, Nham Canh's body stiffened slightly. He turned around, his dark eyes staring at the woman bowing her head in front of him. A long time later, I heard Nham Canh mock himself in a hoarse voice.
Due Giao, the steadfastness I had for you back then was the biggest mistake of my life.
His voice was very soft, but made my internal organs shake with pain. I clenched my hands tight, nails digging deep into my palms. Nham Canh seemed to have lost all desire to talk, turning to leave. The sharp pain from my spine made me tremble like a leaf, but I still tried to wait for that figure to disappear completely before daring to let myself collapse. Seeing this scene, my mother, who had been following all along, immediately ran over to support me in her arms. Little Zhao. Cold sweat ran down my pale face. As if finding a support, I buried my face in the crook of my mother's neck and sobbed. That night I was hospitalized because my condition worsened. After 2 days in a coma, I finally woke up. When I saw my mother watching over the hospital bed with a haggard face, I said in a trembling voice, "Mom, I'm sorry." I held my hand tight. "Don't apologize, I know you've always been trying for my sake." Pausing, her tears fell. "Little Zhao, if you really can't bear it anymore, just let go. Don't worry, I will take good care of myself." Immediately, I deeply felt my mother's helplessness and despair in the face of death. I really didn't want to give up. Before, not only for my mother but also harboring the hope of seeing Nham Canh again, I tried to prolong my last breath day after day. Now I just want to live one more day for my mother. Then I started systematic treatment. The doctor changed my medicine, the side effects made me vomit until I was dizzy, and even my esophagus was so burned that eating liquid food became difficult. It wasn't until a week later that my condition stabilized and I was transferred to a regular ward. My mother went to the ward first to prepare. I went for the checkup myself. In the elevator, I stood in the corner. Suddenly, amidst the strong smell of disinfectant, I smelled a familiar mint scent. Looking up, I saw Nham Canh in a suit walking into the elevator. Separated by a crowd, I panicked and turned my back, tense to the point of holding my breath. Nham Canh glanced at the woman in the patient gown, a thin figure standing in the corner, and frowned slightly. Somehow he felt this back was a bit familiar, but he didn't think much of it and pressed the button for the 7th floor, where the obstetrics department was. I pressed myself against the elevator wall. The pain gradually intensified in my joints, slowly draining my strength. But I still gritted my teeth and endured, afraid of being discovered by Nham Canh. Finally, the 7th floor arrived. The elevator door opened with a ding. Nham Canh stepped out. But the next second, my knees lost all sensation, crashing heavily onto the floor, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. Screams of horror echoed through the elevator. I tried to look up. The moment the elevator doors slowly closed, Nham Canh and I were staring at each other in shock. The elevator doors closed. Nham Canh instinctively pressed the up button, but it was too late. He stood frozen on the spot, recalling that glimpse over and over again.
That patient in the elevator, was it Due Giao? No, it wasn't. She. It must be because staying up late continuously during this time made my eyes play tricks on me. Otherwise, only a week without seeing her, how could Due Giao become so thin?
Nham Canh rubbed his temples, trying to suppress the confusion in his heart, then turned to leave. Pushing open the door of a ward, he saw Hualak Thursday leisurely playing on her phone on the hospital bed. Seeing him arrive, she immediately took out an agreement. According to the prenuptial agreement, we play our own games. If one party decides to end this relationship, the other cannot have an opinion. I'm pregnant, let's terminate the agreement. Occupational habits made Nham Canh scrutinize the divorce agreement before signing his name. Seeing his distracted appearance, Hualak Thursday teased. What? Starting to find new excuses to move opposite Due Giao? Nham Canh's face darkened.
None of your business.
Hualak Thursday was even more amused. Back then you suddenly raised a dog and inexplicably wanted to move here. I found it strange. Seeing Due Giao, I realized you were preparing for your reunion. But unfortunately, she seems to care more about money. I heard everyone in the apartment complex is cursing her now. However, with so much money, her life in the future probably won't be bad. As for you, I wonder if there's a chance to reunite with her?
Enough.
Nham Canh coldly cut her off, throwing the divorce agreement at her.
Worry about yourself first.
Hualak Thursday pouted, looking displeased. Deep autumn lacked sunshine. Thick fog covered the city in gray. Only when I was wheeled out of the emergency room was it already dark. The doctor stood before the bed delivering the final verdict. Back SI, cancer cells in her body have metastasized throughout her whole body. Treatment at the hospital no longer holds much meaning. Hearing these words, my mother covered her face and sobbed, tears streaming through her fingers. In my stupor, I heard my mother crying and struggled to reach my hand out to her. Mom, take me home. I knew I couldn't hold on much longer, but I didn't want to stay in this hospital full of life and death separation, filled with the smell of disinfectant. I wanted to be in my mother's warm embrace. My mother's scent was better than any painkiller. My mother held my face, her voice trembling. Okay, Mom will take you home. The next day my mother went through the discharge procedures for me. She deliberately waited for Nham Canh to leave the house before taking me back. I saw the remaining paint stains on my door and was stunned. My mother sighed. Someone deliberately used paint to write nasty words on the door. Luckily Nham Canh helped me clean it up. Saying half a sentence, she stopped again, eyes red as she went to pack luggage. Finally, I pursed my lips and said nothing, but asked my mother to help me take the box out of the closet. Inside contained all the memories related to Nham Canh over the years. To me, it was like a dangerous Pandora's box. I dared not open it because once opened, the vortex of memories could immediately swallow me. I put the bank card Nham mother gave me inside and asked my mother to place the box in front of Nham Canh's door. Once everything was packed, I was helped into a taxi by my mother. I looked at Nham Canh's WeChat profile picture on the phone. My finger hovering over the screen trembled, but I still decided to delete and block him. Then I turned off the phone, leaned on my mother's shoulder, and fell asleep from exhaustion. Nham Canh, I'm sorry. Hope you find happiness and peace in a life that will soon be without me. As the sky grew dark, Nham Canh tiredly stepped out of the elevator, but kicked a box right in front of his door. He looked down at it, then hesitantly carried it into the house. Cream wagged its tail and ran over, rubbing its head affectionately against his leg. Nham Canh rubbed its head and sat on the sofa. He looked at the box in his hand, eyes full of doubt. Who left this thing at his door? Hesitating for a few seconds, Nham Canh opened the box. Unexpectedly, what caught his eye was the photo of him and Due Giao on a red background. His pupils contracted, his breath seemed to catch, and his hands seemed to lose control. Nham Canh began to rummage through the things underneath. Without exception, they were all evidence of the romantic relationship between him and Due Giao. Gifts exchanged, movie ticket stubs. Only a bank card was completely unfamiliar. Immediately, Nham Canh's heart was in turmoil. The suppressed anxiety surged violently again.
What does Due Giao mean by doing this? Sending all this to me means she wants to cut ties completely? If so, why didn't she do it 3 years ago, but instead kept these things so carefully?
Nham Canh tightened his lips, took his phone, and messaged Due Giao. What is the meaning of the box you sent? However, the next second, the dazzling red exclamation mark stung him. He immediately tried to add her as a friend, but found Due Giao had blocked him. Instantly, all of Nham Canh frustration and insecurity turned into indignation. He lost control of his emotions after a long time, throwing the phone and the box onto the sofa. Cream bit his pant leg and whined, pulling him out. The dim floor lamp shone on the corner of Nham Canh reddish eyes, exuding extreme frustration.
You want to go find her? But she simply doesn't care about you at all. Can you stop being so sentimental?
The hoarse voice echoed through the living room. He gasped, looking at Cream's black eyes, self-mockery rising in his heart. Was he saying this to Cream or admonishing himself? That day, Due Zhao's cold breakup text almost took half his life. He once threw away his self-esteem to beg her to wait for him, not to abandon him for 1 million. But the answer was only freezing rain and a ring thrown out the window. Later, countless times waking up in the middle of the night, that scene was always his nightmare. At this moment, Cream unknowingly fetched a file bag in its mouth. When it dropped it, a red background photo of Due Zhao and Nham Canh along with an old phone fell out. Nham Canh frowned. They each kept one copy of that photo, and the phone was the first birthday gift Due Zhao gave him. Even in the era of rapid phone updates, Nham Canh couldn't bear to change it. Not until they broke up did he put this phone and photo away. Nham Canh stared at the phone, his eyes flashing with conflict, but he still picked it up and plugged it in. The phone unexpectedly turned on. He opened the block list. Inside, there was only a single number saved as Little Zhao. His eyes gradually darkened. He removed that number from the block list. Unexpectedly, a ding sounded, and a voicemail immediately popped up. Checking the time, it was 2 months after he went abroad 3 years ago. Nham Canh eyelids twitched violently, the restlessness and panic in his heart multiplied. He clicked on the voicemail. The next second, Due Zhao's weak, choked voice came through. Canh, I don't want to break up with you, but I have bone marrow cancer. I don't want to drag you down. Today is my first chemotherapy session. It hurts so much. I miss you so much. Just a voicemail of more than a minute, but Nham Canh listened with his heart feeling like it was on fire. I'm sorry, I was selfish. I didn't want you to see me like this. Didn't want to hold you back, but I also overestimated myself. The treatment hurts a lot, but breaking up with you seems to hurt even more. Nham Canh, I don't dare beg for your forgiveness. Just asking you. Please forget me a little slowly, okay? A few final weak coughs seemed to knock on his heart. He felt as if huge holes were gouged in his heart, cold wind whistling through. Regarding the events of that year, he had also suspected Due Zhao had difficulties, but eventually, after being hurt by her words and pushed away, he became cowardly and dared not approach her. To protect his ego, he decisively walked away for 3 years. Nham Canh hand shook as he gripped the phone tight. He didn't understand why he could be so cruel back then. It was true that for 3 years he hadn't asked about her situation even once. 3 years of no contact. Cream seemed to sense its master's emotions. Normally an active dog, it now lay obediently at Nham Canh feet, rubbing against him as if to comfort and fawn on him. Nham Canh took out his phone to call Due Zhao. Before his erratic heart could beat twice, the other end transmitted the familiar cold robotic voice. Sorry, the number you dialed is currently powered off. Nham Canh stood up stunned and walked straight out. Knock, knock, knock. The silence after knocking made the already quiet corridor even emptier.
Little Zhao.
Responding to him was only a more tormenting silence. At this moment, the elevator door opened. Nham Canh turned around. He saw a man taking out keys and walking straight to open Due Zhao's door. Nham Canh froze for a moment, then called the person back.
How do you have the key to this house?
The man glanced at him, seeing no hostility, answered. Nam Fu, the owner of this house needed to sell urgently, so sold it to me cheaply. I'm free today, so just came to check the house. Nham Canh couldn't believe Due Zhao acted so fast. This reminded him of 3 years ago when he was abroad. He came back one last time to look for her under her building. But in the end, he waited all day at the door until evening, only for Due Zhao's neighbor aunt coming home from work to tell him she had moved. Moved the very next day after their argument. Nham Canh knew clearly he and Due Zhao didn't have another 3 years to waste getting entangled. According to her message, this was already the 3rd year since she discovered the illness. He forced himself to calm down, continuing to ask.
Excuse me, when the owner left, did she say where she was moving to?
The man pondered for a moment, then shook his head. Nam Fu didn't say anything, just noticed she looked like she was in poor health. Even a stranger just met could realize something was wrong with Due Zhao's body, yet I, who used to be closest to her, didn't notice at all. The man saw Nham Canh distracted but was busy with his own work, so he nodded as a greeting and walked into the newly bought house. Nham Canh pressed on his tightening chest to the point of suffocation, trying to control his emotions. He had thought of countless reasons for their breakup, but never thought Due Zhao would be thin and ravaged by illness. Inevitably, he remembered the first time they met again at the door. Even the thick coat on Due Zhao couldn't hide her thinness then. Why didn't he notice? What was he thinking then? He was busy struggling to regain some face for being dumped 3 years ago, busy bringing another woman in front of her to provoke her, busy protecting his pitiful and ridiculous self-esteem. Nham Canh rubbed his face in regret. He used to hate Due Zhao, but deep down he still thought even if they broke up, Due Zhao would be entangled with him for life. Nham Canh felt his heart aching to suffocation. He returned home. Suddenly his eyes stopped on the bank card in the corner of the room. Behind the bank card was a piece of paper with a password written on it, which was his birthday. A thought suddenly appeared in Nham Canh mind. She never took his mother's money. Thinking of the misunderstandings, even the harsh words he once used on her, Nham Canh eyes turned red with regret. He clutched the bank card, unwilling to wait another moment, holding the bank card and running nonstop straight to the nearest ATM. He inserted the card into the machine, entered the password, and pressed to view the balance. The old machine paused for a moment, then a series of numbers appeared, exactly 6,600 yuan. This number was precisely the interest on 1 million yuan over 3 years. Due Zhao hadn't even touched this bank card. The harsh words once spoken hurting Due Zhao appeared before his eyes. An unprecedented regret surged in his heart. All night Nham Canh ran everywhere asking for Due Zhao's whereabouts to no avail. He was already tired from constantly working overtime and staying up late, adding anxiety and restlessness. Now he felt his heart wanted to jump out of his chest. As soon as dawn broke, Nham Canh prepared to go home to change clothes, then use the fastest speed to settle the studio's accepted work and arrange the next tasks. As soon as he stepped out of the elevator door, he saw Nham mother standing in front of his house. The fatigue of the whole night, the worry for Due Zhao along with the resentment towards his mother made his face look bad, but he still suppressed his emotions and spoke.
Do you have business?
Nham mother didn't wait for him to finish before interrupting. Business? You ask if there's business? Why did you divorce last Thursday? Is it because of that little vixen's daughter? Do you want to anger me to death? You've been obedient for over 10 years. Every time you meet that slut, nothing good happens. It was like that 3 years ago, still the same 3 years later. What karma have I created? Nham Canh face became increasingly unsightly, black as the bottom of a pot.
Enough.
Nham Canh had never spoken to Nham mother in such a tone. She was startled, her eyes full of disbelief. Nham Canh looked at her, tired eyes glistening.
Don't call her the daughter of a little third anymore. Her mother is a victim of a marriage just like you. 3 years ago you suppressed my career, forcing her to leave me. You think she coveted your money? She found out she had a terminal illness, didn't want to implicate me, so she chose to break up.
Nham Canh threw the bank card he had clutched in his hand all night at Nham mother. Nham mother looked at the bank card, her face disbelieving. Still thinking it was Due Zhao's trick. How's that possible? That's all her deceiving you. She knows you're successful now, what you can give her is not just 5 million yuan, so she greedily acted out this play. Nham Canh looked at his mother with utter disappointment. He used an almost cruel way to break the beautiful illusion Nham mother built for herself.
The reason Hua Lak Thursday and I divorced is because she's pregnant, but the child isn't mine. Mom, hearing this, her face paled in shock. Our marriage was originally just a contract marriage to deal with you. 3 years ago you forced Due Zhao away. 3 years later, you used old tricks to make up stories to smear her and force her away. But actually, it's not her clinging to me. It's me who can't be without her. Besides her, I can't love anyone else. Therefore, I'd rather marry someone I don't love, acting out a play for you to see.
This was the first time Nham Canh spoke such a long speech. Outside the courtroom, rather than saying he was refuting his mother, it was more like his confession of almost self-destruction. Everything that hurt Due Giao, he was an accomplice. Every sentence spoken, he hated himself a little more. Having said that, Nham Canh didn't go home but walked straight away. Him speaking frankly to Nam's mother wasn't because he wasn't worried Nam's mother would ruin Hualak Thursday's reputation. He understood his mother too well, extremely selfish, not allowing anything to go out of control. This matter concerned the Nham family's face. She wouldn't breathe a word, but cover it up tightly. Nham Canh left, then went straight to the studio. Only by resolving these matters could he wholeheartedly go look for Due Giao. The air in the countryside was even fresher than in the city. Returning to the countryside these past few days for health reasons, I spent most of my time lying in bed. Only today, when it was sunny after many days, did I sit in the yard to sunbathe. This yard, which only existed in childhood memories, made me feel indescribably familiar. Perhaps because old people often talk about the law of falling leaves returning to their roots, I vaguely felt my roots were here. In the corner of the yard stood a mandarin tree nearly 2 stories high. In late autumn, the tree was laden with fruit, but more than half were still green. Just looking at it was enough to make one salivate. "Mom, I want to eat tangerines." Sitting in the wheelchair looking at the unreachable mandarin tree, I called into the house just like when I was a child acting spoiled with my mother. Mother Ha walked out wiping her hands dry to answer. "Coming right away." "Oh dear, these tangerines are only just turning yellow, afraid they're still very sour. Or wait for it to ripen completely then eat." I refused, eyes glistening looking at the mandarin tree. "I like sour, I want to eat now." Mother Ha helplessly picked a ripe one and gave it to me. The tangerine peel was peeled off, spurts of juice sprayed out emitting a cool fragrance. I've liked this smell since I was little. When I was small, after eating tangerines I used to keep the peels drying on the windowsill. That scent made the room smell fresh for days. I separated a segment to taste. The sour taste immediately exploded on the tip of my tongue, my eyes squinting from the sourness. Seeing this, Mother Ha happily teased. "Sour to that extent?" I separated a segment and gave it to Mom. "Mom, taste it and you'll know immediately." Mother Ha opened her mouth to accept it, sour enough to wrinkle her face. Then she squinted to look closely at the mandarin tree. Where the trunk split there were traces of grafting, half mandarin, half lime. Mother Ha swallowed with difficulty, frowning. "Your grandmother grafted this tree back in the day. That's why it's sour like this. Don't eat any more. Wait for the fruit truck to come to the village. Mom will buy for you." I shook my head, squinting eyes slowly eating each segment. "It's delicious. Leaving it to fall would be a waste." Mother Ha sat beside me looking at me with a distant gaze, not knowing what she was thinking. The thick, heavy blanket covered my knees, my thin, pale face under the stimulation of the sour taste also flushed a little. Mother Ha reached out to touch my forehead again. Seeing everything normal, she rested assured and started busy cleaning up the garden. Occasionally, she would straighten her back looking both amused and heartbroken at me slowly eating the tangerine so sour it could make teeth fall out. Sitting in the wheelchair, I also occasionally looked at my mother's bent back busy working, hair speckled with silver at the temples. The sour taste of the tangerine seemed to turn into a substance enveloping my heart. I felt I was truly thoughtless, owing my mother too much. To give birth to me, to give me a good life, Mom always struggled. After I got sick, taking care of me, she almost had no private life left. I looked at Mom with heartbroken eyes. Growing up in such love, I still felt amazed by my mother's love. Love is indeed the greatest thing. The sun gradually slanted, dappled tree shadows obscuring the sunlight on my head. Mom pushed me to sit back in the sun. "Mom, sunbathe with me." I acted spoiled, pulling Mom's hand as she prepared to go work more. Mother Ha smiled and patted my head. "All right, Mom has dust on her. I'll go change clothes then come out with you immediately." By the time Mom changed clothes and came out, I was a bit low on energy, squinting eyes leaning against the back of the chair, almost falling asleep. Mother Ha sat down next to me, letting me lie in her lap, just like she lulled me to sleep when I was little. I gently opened my eyes, looking at the wrinkles on my mother's face, sadly reaching out to touch the gray hair at her temples. Mom is only in her early 40s. Why is there gray hair already? Is it because of worrying too much? Mother Ha laughed and said, Mom had hair growth in her teens. Premature gray hair has nothing to do with worrying. I knew Mom was coaxing me. My mother in childhood memories was a gentle and beautiful intellectual, far from the appearance, enduring struggle, and tormented suffering she has now. But I didn't expose her, only leaned my head on my mother's soft belly, smelling the unique pleasant scent on her, and closed my eyes. In a daze, I grabbed the hem of my mother's shirt. Mom, I'm sorry. I always make you worry. Grandma told me that Mom was originally a very good doctor of traditional medicine like Grandpa, but because of me, Mom had to drop out of school, take me to move house. At the age meant for enjoyment, Mom has to worry because of my illness. My hand gripped tighter and tighter, guilt almost drowning me. Mom, don't be sad because of me anymore. In this life, I go first to prepare a home for our next life. In the next life, I will be the mother to protect Mom, so Mom can be free to do the things Mom wants. Those who bullied Mom, I will help Mom bully them back. I rambled on to Mom about the regrets and heartache over the years, but didn't realize the mother holding me had already cried silently. Amidst vague consciousness, I seemed to hear Mom hugging me, choking up. What nonsense are you saying? You are forever Mom's child. It's Mom's fault for not being able to protect you to grow up healthy. You were never a burden, you are Mom's treasure. According to Mom, her hardships were never brought by me. I shouldn't mind that, let alone apologize. She also always felt heartache for my understanding nature. She thought it was because she couldn't give her child a good growing environment, because she didn't give me a healthy body. But she had been a mother for too long. She forgot that she herself back then was just an innocent girl deceived into giving birth to me. My mother is the most innocent and benevolent one. My consciousness gradually sank into a coma, only feeling Mom hugging me, gently patting my back, lulling me to sleep. Streetlights began to turn on, the sky on the horizon mixing orange and blue. Nham Canh sat on the balcony looking at the dark house opposite. A week had passed since Due Giao left. In this week, Nham Canh put aside work, rushing everywhere on the journey to find Due Giao. During that time, Nhem's mother cried and made a fuss. She wanted to stop her son's sudden rebellion after 3 years, but he had grown up. The tricks Nhem's mother used to control Nham Canh 3 years ago were completely useless. Even almost completely cutting off his old dream, seeing Nham Canh hand over the law firm he built with hard work to someone else. Nhem's mother belatedly realized how important Due Giao was to him. It was also at this moment Nhem's mother understood, if back then it wasn't because Due Giao had a terminal illness and actively broke up with Nham Canh, then with her tricks and Nham Canh stubbornness, she basically couldn't have separated the two. She really pushed her son away with her own hands. But waiting until she questioned her own behavior was too late. During this time, Nham Canh almost searched all the places Due Giao and her mother used to move to, used to transfer schools to over the years. He also only just learned how many difficulties Due Giao had to go through when she was young. Suddenly a phone ring interrupted his thoughts. It was Nhem's mother. Nham Canh hesitated for a moment, but eventually picked up.
Is something wrong?
Nhem's mother choked up hearing Nham Canh cold, distant voice, but she adjusted her emotions and told him. Canh, Mom had someone investigate inside Miss Ha's elementary school records. There is another address, but it's in the countryside. Could be a fake address. Do you still want to go? If listening carefully, her voice carried a hint of making amends. Nham Canh was surprised by Nhem's mother's attitude. The hand holding the phone tightened. During this period, every time receiving address information, he would countless times kindle hope and then countless times see hope extinguished. That disappointment made his heart bleed 1,000 times. But he didn't want to miss any possibility. Nham Canh took a deep breath.
Send it to me.
The next day when Nham Canh arrived at the village written on the address, it was just noon. Families were eating lunch, not many people outside. Saying it's a village, but actually very large, following the main road up there were still many old roads not yet concreted. Because it had been sunny for a few days straight, the dirt roads originally muddy were dry, but tire tracks were still visible. Nham Canh walked into the village gate and saw a white-haired old woman sitting on a lounge chair in the middle of the yard sunbathing. By the road was a grafted pomelo and mandarin tree heavy with fruit all over the branches. Nham Canh approached to ask,
Hello, Grandma. Excuse me, do you know the way to Due Zhao's house?
The enthusiastic old woman, seeing a guest, stood up. She was old and hard of hearing, leaning on a cane walking to the door. What is it? Nham Canh bent down slightly, repeating loudly.
Grandma, excuse me, do you know the way to Due Zhao's house? Just the family that moved back recently.
Not knowing if the old woman heard correctly or not, her eyes were a bit misty. She pondered for a while, then suddenly realized. Oh, young man here to find someone? I kept saying our village doesn't have any young man this handsome. You just follow this road, see the second small road, turn left up the slope, and you'll arrive. It's mealtime now, no one is outside. Usually hopes like this were too many. Nham Canh was afraid it would be another false joy, but he still politely thanked her, then followed the direction the old woman pointed. Inside the village, exactly as the old woman said, no one was seen walking outside. Almost every house grew grafted fruit trees in front of the gate. He searched along the way, vaguely hearing funeral music and firecrackers occasionally sounding, loud and lively. Reaching the second turn the old woman pointed out, Nham Canh turned left. Walking less than a few steps, his whole body froze on the spot. In the yard of that house, guests were crowded, the gate hung couplets and white lanterns. Nham Canh looked at the scene full of white and black in the yard, only finding it ridiculous, his hand hanging by his side, trembling formlessly. In the countryside, rarely seeing someone wearing a polite suit, many people in the yard cast probing, suspicious glances at him. Villager 1. That guy must be here to find someone, probably a friend of the girl of this house when she was alive. What a pity, died too young. Villager 2. The family treated the illness for the child for several years. Even the house in the city had to be sold. That child was also understanding, demanding to return to the countryside herself. Who expected returning for just a few days, then passed away. Her mother fainted, crying twice already. Oh God, truly pitiful. The white-haired sending off the black-haired. With every word, Nham Canh's heart sank a fraction. Hearing to the end, he only saw darkness before his eyes. The surrounding air seemed drained, even forgetting how to breathe. At the very next moment, Nham Canh felt his knees sting with pain. His whole body lost all strength, kneeling down. Just like repenting for the things he did in the past. Knees hitting sharp stones hard. He didn't even frown because the wrenching pain in his heart at that moment completely overwhelmed the physical pain. Nham Canh? A familiar and clear voice sounded, pulling Nham Canh back to reality. Nham Canh looked up, incredulously, disbelief. Due Giao, face pale, sitting in a wheelchair, on her knees covered with a thick blanket. She looked at him with probing and doubt. Nham Canh was stunned for a moment. A second later, a tear fell straight down. It fell to the ground, rolling on the dusty ground, then soaking into the soil. I hadn't yet recovered from the shock of seeing Nham Canh shedding tears when I fell into a warm, broad embrace. The familiar, unique scent of Nham Canh that I longed for enveloped me. That sensation almost paralyzed my brain. I didn't understand why Nham Canh appeared here, nor could explain his strange behavior. But I could feel Nham Canh's arms hugging me, trembling. I sat in the wheelchair, not knowing what to do. The hand wanting to hug him back raised, paused a moment, then dropped down again. If there is anything in this world that is extreme joy, Nham Canh thought, losing then finding again definitely occupies the first place. A moment later, I adjusted my mood, frowning gently, pushing Nham Canh away, tone unfamiliar and cold. What are you doing here? Nham Canh saw the move of pushing him away once used, but this time he swore he would never be scared off by her coldness again.
Little Zhao, the voicemail 3 years ago you sent me, I received it.
My face showed a hint of doubt, then remembered that message segment. My expression was a bit unnatural. After adjusting, I explained distantly. At that time I was confused. You don't need to mind. My illness has nothing to do with you. You don't need to feel guilty. We broke up 3 years ago. You just live your life well. I understood Nham Canh-du's personality too well, looking distant and hard to approach, but his heart is softer than anyone. If not so, with his family background, he wouldn't have needed to study such a tough major. He just wanted to speak up to protect the weak. But I also knew in love, I didn't want to become a weak person in Nham Canh-du's eyes, didn't want the love between the two of us to erode into pity. What I wanted was just a balanced matching love, not charity from above. At this moment Nham Canh-du was a bit calmer. He squatted in front of my wheelchair, corners of his eyes still red from crying. He suppressed emotions asking,
What do you mean nothing to do with me? 3 years ago you used that thought to push me away. 3 years later want to play old tricks again?
This was the first time Nham Canh-du showed unruly behavior.
Don't you dare. This time no matter what you can't push me away again.
Even during the passionate dating period, I had never seen a Nham Canh-du like this. I never thought Nham Canh-du would find this place. I thought even if Nham Canh-du didn't hate me anymore, he wouldn't have any feelings left for me. His abnormality made me a bit panicked, couldn't help using harsh words to mock him. Nham Canh-du, don't forget you're married. Your life has entered a trajectory, shouldn't turn back, but should move forward and live well. Now doing this, what is your meaning? Taking care of a terminally ill ex-girlfriend at the end of life? Nham Canh-du instinctively frowned. He was now too sensitive to death, especially what related to Due Giao.
Watch your words, you will be fine. Cannot cure domestically, then we go abroad. Science and technology are so developed, now definitely will cure it.
I didn't expect a person like Canh-du could say such superstitious words. Just about to say something, I heard him continue.
Hualak Thursday and I divorced. The marriage was initially just an agreement between us to deal with parents on both sides. I never loved anyone else besides you.
Nham Canh-du's words were very straightforward. He hated that he couldn't rip his heart open for Due Giao to see. He broke up with her for 3 years because of misunderstanding, almost missed her completely. Nham Canh-du truly dared not let the two have any possibility of misunderstanding anymore. But these words of his pushed me, who intended to scare him into retreating, into a dilemma. Us two reaching the step, I couldn't blame Nham Canh-du. This was all my choice. But with a body like this, even if the misunderstanding was resolved, I couldn't accept Canh-du anymore. 3 years ago I made that choice. 3 years later I absolutely couldn't go against the difficult decision I suffered so much bitterness to make. Those things have nothing to do with me. I just want to remind you that we are the past. The reason for breaking up back then partly was because of illness. Partly, I also really realized I didn't love you that much, knew if continued also wouldn't have a good result. My illness condition I know clearly myself. Chemotherapy 3 years, suffered enough. You go back, I'm still fine. Saying that I didn't look at Nham Canh-du's face anymore, I controlled the wheelchair backing up preparing to leave. Seeing 2 people taking action, the villagers surrounding to watch also secretly turned away. Due Giao controlled the wheelchair passing by Nham Canh-du, but the tire tracks on the dried muddy small road blocked the wheelchair wheel. With a clunk, the wheelchair lost balance, I almost fell over. Nham Canh-du immediately pressed the wheel tight then held firmly both person and wheelchair, thanks to that I didn't roll into the grass pile by the small road. Nham Canh-du suddenly felt scared, but seeing Due Giao pale face still guarding against him, he could only suppress emotion and say,
Little Giao, let me take you home, okay?
He didn't mention my illness, as if it was a taboo, but stubbornly stood beside me. I said nothing, silence spreading between the two. A long while later I softly sighed as if compromising. Ahead turn right at the main road, the red-tiled roof house with a yard. Take me there then you leave. The wheelchair pushed on the small road full of gravel, it bumped even more. I only felt bones all over my body seemingly about to shatter from the bumps, but I didn't make a sound. Hand clenched tight trying to endure, fingertips pale with no blood left. But Nham Canh-du's attention the moment meeting Due Giao completely focused on her, so he noticed my abnormality. At this moment he suddenly remembered the information he found during the days searching for Due Giao. He knew that this disease in the final stage would accompany abnormal sensations and bone pain. Nham Canh-du stopped. I turned my head slightly doubtful, words not yet asked out felt whole body floating. I was held firmly in Nham Canh-du's arms. No more slight bumps, every step of Nham Canh was very steady. I instinctively wrapped arms around his neck, looking at the face close right in front. After 3 years, he shed the immaturity of the past, adding a few parts of mature charm. He walked steadily, eyes looking straight ahead, seeming not to feel this action was anything crossing the line. Only slightly trembling eyelashes betrayed his emotions. The gaze of villagers behind made me a bit uncomfortable. I lowered voice asking, "What are you doing?" Nham Canh tilted his head, glancing at me. The face, originally pale after getting sick, now had a bit of blood color due to shyness.
Wheelchair bumps. I'm afraid you're uncomfortable. Just taking you home, don't worry.
Hearing that, I also didn't say anything more. My mom was drying clothes in the yard. Seeing the gate pushed open, raised head to greet. "Back already?" Mom said. "Let Mom push you for a walk." You refused. "How was it?" She was stunned seeing Nham Canh holding me. Then she quickly stepped forward with a worried face. "Little Giao, what's wrong? Relapsed again?" Because being held in Nham Canh arms, the bruised bone cracks ached like needle pricks, but seeing Mom's worried eyes, I still shook head. "Mom, I'm fine." Nham Canh seemed to realize my discomfort, hurriedly put me down on the soft reclining chair that had been modified. My mom breathed a sigh of relief seeing I was okay. Finally, she assessed Nham Canh. She was a bit doubtful, but didn't ask out, only asked, "Canh came, huh? Have you eaten lunch? Or let Auntie add a bowl and chopsticks. Eat a bit at home, okay?" Nham Canh hesitated slightly, looking at me. Seemingly, he was shy of my opinion. Seeing I said nothing, Nham Canh also understood this was an indirect way of seeing off a guest. He smiled, saying to Mother Ha,
No thanks, I ate already. Thank you, Auntie.
But looking at Nham Canh bowing head, the dejected, sad appearance, I suddenly remembered the little dog following us on the street years ago, that back view at breakup full of regret. I sighed, compromising. Now going back to town to eat, driving also takes an hour. Stay and eat a bit. Nham Canh didn't expect Due Giao would keep him. His eyes lit up bright.
Okay, I'll push the wheelchair in first.
Saying that, he pushed the gate out. After Nham Canh left, my mom asked out the wonder in heart. Why did he find this place? Little Giao, aren't you too? My eyes were also a bit misty. Maybe illness eroded my courage, making my heart soft. I also couldn't understand my own heart. Mom, 3 years ago he didn't receive my voicemail. And the marriage with Hualak Thursday was also fake. He said he always loved me. My mom, seeing me like that, face full of heartache. She reached out, rubbing my head lovingly through the wool hat. Little Giao, Mom hopes you follow your heart. Don't always think for others and make yourself suffer. Maybe Mom is selfish, but Mom only hopes Mom's daughter lives according to her will. As long as you are happy and joyful, even if later Mom has to live in days of atonement, Mom is willing. Parents' heart-loving child is truly precious. My eyes immediately turned red. I reached out, holding Mom's hand, pressing to cheek, rubbing dependently. But Mom, instead of me being able to live indulgently in the last days, I want to see the person I love happy even more. I want to see Mom after without me can have time and energy to complete unfinished dreams. Want to see Nham Canh can have someone to love and continue to live happily. I took a deep breath, blooming a relieved smile. Just need later occasionally everyone remembers me, remembers my good things, that's enough for me. 3 years struggling with illness, fear of death has been stretched into thin threads. Only left with occasional throbbing pains coming. I could already face death calmly. But at that time I didn't know the loved ones who cherished me couldn't. My mom couldn't, and Nham Canh standing at the door listening to everything also couldn't. Nham Canh stood at the yard gate for a long time, waited until arranging his emotions properly, he knocked on the door, entering. My mom and I also calmed down. Seeing him arrive, my mom, afraid he would be formal, stood up, going to kitchen, bringing prepared dishes out. Initially didn't know you came, Auntie didn't prepare any special dish. Don't mind, okay? Nham Canh knew the story of him and Due Giao breaking up back then had his mother's hand involved, so he always felt guilty towards Mother Ha. That year the two almost stepped into wedding hall. He also used to follow Due Giao home frequently to visit her mother. At that time Mother Ha also almost considered him her own child. Now, no matter how trying to erase the gap, everything was no longer like 3 years ago. Nham Canh helped serve rice on table. Dishes on table mostly were vegetables neighbors grew themselves. Every family passing by brought mother-ha a bit. Although they said planting too much couldn't finish eating, but these honest rural people were just seeing a single mother raising seriously ill daughter, so pitied them. The meal happened in quiet atmosphere, only sound of bowls, chopsticks clashing. I didn't have appetite, esophagus burned and ulcerated due to chemotherapy, making eating almost impossible to swallow. I ate less than half a bowl, then put chopsticks down. Not that I didn't want to eat, but because burning pain in throat was too uncomfortable. My mom didn't say anything, but Nham Canh frowned. Finishing eating, even if Nham Canh didn't want it to the max, also didn't have reason to stay. He said goodbye to me and Mom then left. After Nham Canh left, I looked towards yard gate, distracted for a long time. Clearly 3 years ago made choice already, why still feel uncomfortable like this? The next day, at noon, my mom prepared medicine to drink during the day, then went with neighbor to district market into city. Because since returning frequency of my illness onset increased, specific medicine nearly ran out. Last night, I relapsed once more, so today I no longer controlled wheelchair to street breathing fresh air like before, but just sat in yard squinting under sunbathing. While half asleep half awake, I suddenly was woken up by a noise. I opened eyes, hearing the originally empty house next door seemed to have noise. Woof woof woof. Outside yard door suddenly sounded scratching on wooden door. My body sluggish, didn't want to open door. Only slightly raised voice. Who is it? Nham Canh's voice echoed over.
Me. Also Cream came too.
I was stunned for a moment, then went to open yard gate. Why did you come again? Is there something wrong again? Cream, seeing me, wagged tail running over, but it seemed very spiritual. Front legs carefully placed on my wheelchair, head resting on legs, black eyes looking at me. In eyes seemed to carry a bit worry. The warmth leaning against made my heart soft for a second.
These years working too tired. I intend to find a place to rest a bit. Yesterday came here seeing scenery quite beautiful. Just asked around, knowing house next to you renting out, so I thought moving here to stay for a while. You don't mind, right?
Story said. To this point, I also didn't have reason to chase people away. I only shook head, then also didn't look at Nham Canh, only focused rubbing Cream's head. I didn't speak. Nham Canh kept standing at gate, gaze not hiding at all, glued on me. Until I couldn't stand his direct gaze, I raised head, meeting Nham Canh's eyes. Then I patted Cream's head, signaling it to move aside, then self-controlled wheelchair yielding a space. Cream, as if receiving order, rushed into yard, playing excitedly. Nham Canh also took opportunity, stepping in. Two people, one sitting, one standing together, looked at big dog jumping excitedly under tree.
Its name is Cream.
Hearing Nham Canh's voice, I turned head, slightly puzzled, looking at him. What?
I know you said it.
Nham Canh took off the elegant gentleman outfit after reunion. Hair originally gelled neatly now hung obediently on forehead. He wore simple, comfortable daily clothes. Corners of eyes slightly red, gaze carrying a bit hurt, as if accusing something. This dressing style made me suddenly vaguely as if returning to student time when two were dating. But Nham Canh's expression made me unable to understand.
The name Cream was given by you. You forgot.
I was stunned a moment, then suddenly remembered the first time I met this dog downstairs. At that time I held a bit hope, probing Nham Canh. Is its name Cream? He replied, my wife named it. At that time I thought Nham Canh forgot old story, thought he was showing off his happiness to me. Turns out right from that moment Nham Canh was accusing me. My eyes blinked, hand placed on thigh, involuntarily scratched lightly into palm. Then I replied coldly, your memory is quite good, huh? You didn't say I forgot completely this matter already. Nham Canh stared into my eyes, face expressionless, looked serious. Just when I was about to be unable to bear it, Nham Canh softly laughed once, then moved gaze away. I was confused by his laugh, puzzled, asking, what are you laughing at? Nham Canh seemed to be in good mood. He took Cream's favorite toy, throwing far away, looking at Cream chasing toy, running away, then leisurely opened mouth.
You are lying. Clearly you remember. Still have to lie, deceiving me, is because you care, right? Little Zhao, don't think about pushing me away again. Tricks 3 years ago now have no effect on me.
I was stunned, then frowned, intending to deny. I didn't expect Nham Canh to easily see through my pretending to be relaxed appearance, clinging tight to me like sticky candy. An indescribable anxiety rose in heart. I hated this feeling of everything out of control. My original plan was cutting off completely with Nham Canh, then finding a quiet place with Mom living out remaining life. But now Nham Canh rudely barged into my life. Silently but unquestionably, he was approaching me, breaking the solid wall I difficultly built over years. I no longer hid or avoided, but looked straight at Nham Canh, trying to expose all instability. Nham Canh, exactly what do you want to do? Yes, I'm sick, cannot cure. I also don't want to cure anymore. If you feel 3 years ago you didn't fulfill duty of lover, didn't stay by my side, then now I can tell you I don't need it. Cream seemed scared by this sudden argument. It no longer jumped, but stood still looking towards us too. I have been ready to accept everything long ago. You said you never forgot me, but Nham Canh, I don't want to see that. I want you to forget me, even wish you wiped me out of your memory completely. I'm not afraid you don't love me, not afraid you forget me. I'm only afraid after I go, whole remaining life you still stuck in place. My voice slightly choked, but still tried to suppress, resolutely looking at him. If so, 3 years I self-endured torture is no different from a clown. I let rot in old memory, don't come back anymore. Forget me. Saying done, I controlled wheelchair going into house. Nham Canh stood behind watching me. When I was about to enter door, his voice choked.
If able to control one's heart, then there wouldn't be so many people suffering in love like that. Little Zhao, when you take excuse for my own good to push me away, you are also hurting me and hurting yourself. You said you ready to accept everything. Then don't avoid me anymore. Accept everything and accept my love too.
I stopped hand controlling wheelchair. Nham Canh looked at my back, trying to use relaxed tones, squeezing out an ugly smile.
Moreover, who said I will be stuck in place for life? It is regret that makes people remember forever, not forgetting. Today I leave, letting you become a thorn unable to pull out in my heart. I then for life cannot forget you. If just follow nature to love, maybe not long later I can start new life again. Little Zhao, I just want to beg you, let me stay by you in this last period to fulfill my wish. Like that I can let go of you easier and start life again.
I only felt heartache trembling, silent for very long. Finally I turned around. On face still a bit vague, but I said, no regret then will forget me, right? Nham Canh didn't hesitate, nodding.
Right.
My eyes shook, finally said. Okay, but you go back first. I'm a bit tired, want to sleep a nap. Saying done, I immediately didn't look at him anymore, going into bedroom, closing door. Until evening when my mom came back, I still didn't get out of bed. Actually inside I knew I shouldn't agree to Nham Canh. Understood he may be self-deceiving, but thought, what if? Maybe myself also hiding a bit indescribable selfishness. Argument, although not quite argument, with Nham Canh that day seemed to drain my last bit of energy. Plus weather getting colder, I rarely sat wheelchair anymore, almost lying in bed every day. But I didn't know what Nham Canh said to my mom. He almost visited every day, and my mom also tacitly accepted his presence. He helped my mom do some chores, sometimes sitting before bed where I was in coma all afternoon. Cream, originally active, also obediently lay by his feet, guarding us obediently. Every time I opened eyes seeing one person, one dog guarding before bed, I couldn't help wanting to smile.
Annie said you slept from 9 p.m. last night, until now 18 hours already.
Nham Canh, while speaking, adjusted pillow for me, wanted me to sit more comfortably a bit. Unique scent on his body when approaching made my brain pause for a second. Then I pretended surprised, saying, that long? No wonder, feeling spirit better. I stopped a bit, then asked, you came here how long already? Nham Canh very naturally touched my hand placed outside blanket. It was warm. Then he opened window slightly.
I sat down not long, then you woke up. Want to get up, eat something?
I nodded. While eating, Nham Canh spoke again.
Auntie said when small you liked going to orchard behind mountain to play. There is also a hot spring. Afternoon weather beautiful. I go with you for a walk, okay?
I was stunned, a bit unbelievable, then looked at Mom's expression. Mom only sat beside, smiling, looking at me. Seeing me look over, Mom patted my hand. Wanna go? Then go, dear. Having Canh watching Mom can be, rest assured, a bit more. But I always thought even if I lived one more day for Mom, Mom would be happy one more day, so I always endured. I didn't know what Nham Canh said to Mom, but burden suppressed in heart throughout time seemed to be lifted immediately. I didn't know how to describe that feeling, like suddenly didn't need to struggle to survive anymore. Before was living for others, but now I can live for myself. Okay. I smiled and nodded. That day Due Giao ate even more than normal. I saw Mom and Nham Canh eyes looking at me always carried indescribable sadness. Actually, I didn't like such sadness at all. After meal, before two people prepared to hit road up mountain, Nham Canh assessed me from top to bottom once. Scarf also wrapped one more round, snow boots and thick fur socks on feet tied carefully. Velcro on gloves loosened then tightened a few parts more before putting on for me. I looked at two people seriously preparing, heart-like soaking in hot spring, bubbling warm bubbles. I didn't let Nham Canh push wheelchair but chose holding his hand, stepping up step by step. Cream went with us. It seemed to sense something so especially excited. It ran like flying, disappearing ahead, then not long later panted running back, carefully using head rubbing my calf. Being scolded by Nham Canh, it lowered ears, dropped tail following behind. Not getting a few minutes, it excitedly ran away again. Throughout this journey, I and Nham Canh walked then stopped. On small path occasionally, there were round chestnuts rolling lying in middle of road. I like childhood couldn't help bending down picking up. Nham Canh, afraid I get pricked by thorns, carefully helped me take chestnut out. Chestnuts not completely ripe, still had round and cute green shells. Half latter segment, I didn't have strength anymore. Nham Canh carried me on back, finishing remaining part. What made me feel strange was throughout this journey my bone joint pain didn't recur at all. Hot spring behind mountain was contracted out. I booked whole day.
Do you want to soak a bit?
I was silent for very long, not answering. If soaking in hot spring, I would have to take off hat, remove wig, take off bulky clothes. Falling hair, skinny body, all ugly sides I hid would completely expose before Nham Canh.
It's okay. If not wanting to soak, also no problem. Then we rest a moment, then go back.
Nham Canh words not finished, I interrupted. Soak, arrived here not soaking, then waste too much. I thought just let him see my bad aspect, maybe he will hate me sooner. Because of my health condition, I couldn't be far from people. Nham Canh originally didn't hope Due Giao would agree, only booked place in case necessary. He took me to changing room, giving prepared bathrobe to me, then stood guarding outside changing room. Because worrying for Due Giao health, Nham Canh didn't close door completely, afraid missing any movement inside. Just when Nham Canh was waiting impatiently, just intending to knock door, I pushed door walking out. Bathrobe, originally not very wide, worn on me, became baggy. Waist belt made thin waist evident, even not as wide as Nham Canh hand. Joints at my bare ankles exposed abnormally. After taking off hat, sparse hair and haggard face made me look like a dried bone. Due Giao knew she was very ugly, but still raised head looking straight at Nham Canh. Last reason I agreed soaking hot spring was because wanting to use this unsightly appearance to fade Nham Canh feelings for me. But when Nham Canh saw this appearance of me, he only reached out, probing back of my hand temperature, confirming it not too cold, then signaled me together with him going towards indoor hot spring pool.
Let's go, don't catch cold.
Nham Canh faced me, expression not strange at all, seemingly whether I look like now or radiant fresh look when loving him had no difference. In hot spring pool, steam lingering, still could hear water flowing gurgling behind rockery. Nham Canh held my hand carefully, putting me sitting down pool.
Heard soaking hot spring good for health. Later, if wanting to come, I can take you anytime. But if anything uncomfortable, must remember telling me.
I listened to Nham Canh instructions, asking out question choked throughout journey. You don't find it disgusting? At this moment Nham Canh eyes revealed strange look. Heartache sparkling in bottom of eyes. He reached out, stroking my cheek very gently and very cherishingly.
Not disgusting. I have seen most beautiful little Giao. From now on, little Giao, no matter how in my eyes, still most beautiful.
I looked into Nham Canh eyes. I knew these words of his not to coax me happy, but honest, sincere words. But more looking into his eyes, I more felt heartache. Love in his eyes, too real, too cherishing. This made me feel scared. I was afraid after I go will no longer see these eyes, and also afraid these eyes will show indelible sadness before my grave. I withdrew gaze, going to corner, sitting down. Didn't want to look at Nham Canh anymore. Sulfur smell in hot spring faint, steam rising made people sleepy. My eyes just closed, heard water sound rising beside. Opening eyes again, Nham Canh surfaced from water, standing in front of me. I looked at Nham Canh's originally soft hair falling on forehead used by his finger brushing back neck, his angular face completely exposed. Eyebrows pressing down full of invasive nature. "What are you doing?" I instinctively backed away, wanting to stay away from Nham Canh, but my back touched hot spring pool wall, no way to retreat. Nham Canh pressed close, looking at me. Even small lines on my face could see clearly. He curled lips, smiling.
Thought you about to doze off. Afraid you fall.
Without soft black hair covering, on Due Zhao's small delicate face only left exquisite lines. Round black eyes seemed to carry innocent naivety of newborn child. Lips originally pale dry because of warm steam became moist. Only thin face unable to keep flesh made face originally full of vitality appeared cold. Two people leaned very close to point, breath seemed intertwining. My face steamed by steam red. I turned head away, two hands propped on Nham Canh's chest. "I didn't sleep, you move back a bit." Words not spoken finished, Nham Canh abruptly bowed down. Slightly cold lips covered my lips. I was stunned, then widened eyes, pushing action on hand more and more strong. Nham Canh suppressed for so long now, like desert traveler first time meeting sweet dew. One hand he placed behind my back, separating me from hard pool wall, simultaneously restraining me, cutting off all possibility I escape. He gently sucked my lower lip, cherishingly as if treating fragile treasure. My waist soft, whole body lost strength. Not yet sinking, I was held firmly by Nham Canh's other hand, holding tight in arms. I could only raise head, enduring plunder from Nham Canh's lips and teeth passively. Saliva not swallowed in time wet my chin. When Nham Canh let go, my eyes hazy, eyes flooded with steam, pale lips became red. Very long later I recovered. Until Nham Canh felt soaking too long not good for his body, he pulled me up, then used towel wrapping me. At this moment I reacted. I frowned, glaring at him, a bit angry because he didn't keep boundary. Nham Canh seemed to realize Due Giao at this moment was just a paper tiger with no damage power. He adjusted towel for me, then hoarse voice gently said by my ear.
"Sorry, I couldn't help it."
Warm moist breath blew into ear and low voice full of magnetism made my face flush red. I angrily turned, leaving, not bothering looking at him. Nham Canh softly laughed, looking at Due Zhao's back. He only felt Due Giao, knowing angry with him at this moment was real Due Giao, not Due Giao living like a soulless corpse for others. But thinking not long later, he will no longer see even Due Giao living like that corpse, smile on lips froze. He clenched fist, truly didn't know what way to keep Due Giao staying. Nham Canh understood he couldn't stop Due Zhao's life flowing away bit by bit. He could only try his best, letting Due Giao be satisfied in last days.
"Little Zhao, can I come in?"
Nham Canh stood before my room door at Hot Spring Hotel asking. I sat on bed, changed clothes already. Although heart a bit uncomfortable, but I still replied. "You come in." Nham Canh walked to in front of me, habitually holding my hand, confirming it not cold, then squatted down in front of me.
"Little Zhao, before you agreed with me that can fulfill my wish. Now does that promise still count?"
After incident at Hot Spring just now, instinctively I wanted to refuse, but looking into Nham Canh's sincere eyes, I couldn't utter refusal words. I lowered eyes, silent for a while, then opened mouth. "Still count, you say?" Hearing that, Nham Canh took out prepared red background joint photo in pocket.
"This is our last photo 3 years ago when finished preparing to use for marriage registration paper. My only regret is 3 years ago didn't go with you to register marriage immediately, but waited for so-called auspicious day. Result, wasted unjustly your 3 years."
In heart, I vaguely had premonition. At this moment continued. "Nham Canh, even if 3 years ago you knew story, also couldn't change anything. My illness lacking isn't time, isn't money, even more isn't anyone's companionship. Even if you knew or not, this is a destiny arranged." Nham Canh's eyes red, full of sadness and pleading.
"Little Zhao, 3 years I could accompany you doing too many things. In this period, almost every day, I thought if I had extra 3 years by you, I would accompany you doing what?"
Nham Canh, while speaking, pulled a ring from chest, kneeling one knee down.
"Due Giao, let's get married."
Light reflected from ring under light made my eyes sting, making corners of eyes red. in heart rose sour taste. Ring style exactly same as the ring I threw away 3 years ago. I didn't know when Nham Canh prepared it, but I knew since time he knew I was sick until now, ordering again a ring like this was not in time. Just thinking of story, 2 people misunderstood each other, but Nham Canh still silently ordered again this ring. My whole heart ached uncomfortably. Seeing I still silent, Nham Canh said again.
Countless times waking up midnight, I thought if then we married, maybe we wouldn't separate. Little Giao, I don't beg you stay by me really long. Don't beg you leave anything. I just want to have a keepsake forever inseparable with you.
Refusal words choked in my throat, making my eye sockets teary. Okay, I answered with difficulty. Moment Nham Canh heard me nod. His nose bridge suddenly sting almost burst into tears.
I asked for household registration book from Annie. Mother, huh? We go to marriage registration office right now, still in time before they close.
Nham Canh couldn't wait another moment. He pulled my hand, intending to go out, then complained I walked too slow. He carried me up and walked fast out of room. In Nham Canh arms, looking at face close by and smile unable to hide on his lips, I couldn't describe my emotions. Nham Canh rented car of Hot Spring Hotel, straight to marriage registration office in city. Throughout way Nham Canh constantly let go one hand to feel my body temperature, as if he wanted to feel again and again that this wasn't his dream, but he really was going to marry person he loved. 2 people just in time before closing time of marriage registration office to complete procedures. When Nham Canh supported me walking out of door, both had feeling not real, as if just experienced a lifetime. I flipped marriage certificate book in hand. Photo on it, still joint photo 3 years ago, 2 people prepared. At that time I wasn't tormented by illness to point of haggard. I and Nham Canh intimate no distance, didn't separate life and death for 3 years. Standing at marriage registration office gate, I stood on step higher a bit. Nham Canh looked straight at me, reaching out, hugging me into arms. He buried head in my neck, hollow, voice choked.
Finally I married you.
2 people hugged for very long until my limbs a bit numb. Nham Canh let me go. I keenly realized Nham Canh's eye corners slightly red but didn't expose. Then Nham Canh drove home. Throughout this journey, I curled up in passenger seat, although wrapped in thick blanket, still trembling constantly. Nham Canh held my hand still warm, but his heart gradually cold bit by bit. Arriving home, Mother Ha early stood before yard gate watching. When Nham Canh carried me home, I was wrapped in blanket and almost no longer heard clearly outside sound. Before eyes was a blurry black covering. Just entering door, Mother Ha, seeing Due Zhao's pale face, knew her daughter relapsed again. She found medicine and watched Nham Canh feed Due Zhao drink. That night both stayed awake guarding by Due Zhao's bed. No one spoke a word. Waiting until dawn appeared, I woke up after pathological fever. Just seeing 2 people facing their concerned eyes, I squeezed out a weak smile, comforting. Why do you 2 stand guarding here? I'm fine. Just hearing my voice, Mother Ha's eyes red. She worried countless times, but luckily her daughter loved her, every time tried to overcome. Following days I increasingly weak, awake time increasingly less. Every time waking up I saw Nham Canh, as if he never left me half step. Weather also increasingly colder. In yard, tangerines and limes grafted on same tree completely ripe. Under frost they looked listlessly drooping. Today I woke up and saw outside window especially bright. I couldn't help asking Nham Canh beside. Outside, why so bright? Voice not opening, mouth for several days became hoarse. Nham Canh looked out, then tucked blanket carefully for me.
Outside snowing, light reflecting, so looking brighter.
Hearing snowing, my eyes lit up. I want to go see snow. Nham Canh's refusal words not yet spoken, I pulled his sleeve, continuing. Let me go, I promise we'll eat extra half bowl of white porridge. I hadn't eaten anything for nearly 3 days. Hearing this word, Nham Canh not only not happy but even more worried, but he didn't refuse me but stood up, going out talking to Mom. Not long later my mom immediately carried clay pot porridge warming on stove down, scooping a bowl using porcelain spoon, feeding me bit by bit. But finally I still couldn't drink finished half that porridge bowl. My esophagus hurt violently to point, drinking water also difficult, let alone swallowing food. Mother Ha didn't force me anymore, but tacitly allowed Nham Canh taking me out seeing snow. Nham Canh spread thick fur blanket on lounge chair, then wrapped me very carefully, ensuring not a bit wind leaking, and then carried me out. Home yard covered white. I looked at tree and yard. Mom, tangerine ripe yet? Mom, I want to eat tangerine. Mother Ha red eyes constantly replying. She picked a tangerine peeling then gave me. I smiled, breaking a segment, after eating in reflex wrinkled face, then laughing said, "Not sour anymore." Then I broke extra another segment giving Mom. Mom. My mom opened mouth welcoming, tears blurred whole face. Sour. Both sour and bitter. Nham Canh stood beside me not saying word, only looking at me. Looking strongly as if looking one more time is less one time. I gently raised hand placing on Nham Canh back of hand, using strength hard to wrinkle clothes layer to hold his hand, but didn't say a word. Fine snow started flying fluttering in sky again. Didn't know how long passed, maybe very long, maybe just a moment. Nham Canh felt light grip like feather on hand disappear. He turned head. Due Giao leaned on his shoulder, closing eyes. A few tiny snowflakes settled on her eyelashes, but they would never tremble again. Mother Ha also realized, rushing over hugging Due Giao and crying miserably. My child. Mom's good child. Rest in peace going, you were very strong trying for Mom throughout long time like that. Nham Canh tear fell soaking into Due Giao back of hand. He lowered head rubbing gently her hand, remembering a sentence once read in a youth magazine many years ago. Tears falling on lover in previous life will turn into birthmark carved deep on her body, following her entering reincarnation next life. Nham Canh heart twitched every bout painful as if gouged a piece of flesh. Fresh blood. He looked at that trace, bowing down placing a solemn kiss.
Wait for me.
That day biggest blizzard in nearly 10 years poured down whole Nam Tan city. Due Giao was buried in mountain behind. Since that day Nham Canh returned to law firm. He considered Mother Ha as his own mother, using his relationships helping Mother Ha start learning again traditional medicine. Two people Due Giao loved most were living well according to path she wished. But countless nights no one knew, Nham Canh drove hundreds of kilometers to mountain behind this village, leaning against that grave sitting whole night. His ability to love buried with person he loved in this lonely nameless mountain.